So this is one way to kind of get on your feet early with this new fishing update, because the bait stacks. That's actually a really good way to make passive income. So what you want to do is find water deep enough, and then once you place a square, just double check each side to make sure you can place these fishing traps so you know what works. This will be the 3 wide area where you do place the fishing traps. This could be a crazy configuration. It's meant to be super cheap and to be done initially when you start as a solo. So right here, this is like the only stone place you really need to start with. You can either make your TC face the interior of this fishing hut, or you can have it face outside, and then you can add kind of like a loot room later if you'd like to. We'll kind of do the loot room later. We'll just make this stone for now. We'll throw up the TC, and you'll see that this is very cheap, and it's done this way on purpose, as you can trade in your stone for wood at the outpost, giving you a huge amount of wood very quickly. Haha, pause. So here, just to keep things not very complicated, very simple, keep things simple, just a regular door. You can even make a wooden door if you wanted to. You can go with a window. That way you can kind of add to this later when you need to. And this is really the most expensive part of the whole thing. And then these just become wood, so you can afford something else. And then we're going to knock out the interior. Then I would suggest to do wood all the way around. And then as you can afford it, you can knock these things out later. So this could even be wood. You can make a wooden door here. You know, so if somebody wants to spend the time to burn this down, it's like, knock yourself out, brother. Knock yourself out. You can already start to see if you get like just 3 nodes, go to the outpost and trade this in for stone. Or I'm sorry, 3 nodes of stone, then go to the outpost and trade it in for wood. You have like 6,000 wood, something crazy, so it's more than enough to get this started. So then what I do now is you kind of just place it like this. You can place them in the back. You should be able to fit 3 since we kind of did that placement test. And then, worst case scenario, if you mess these up, you can just destroy them and bring them back in. That way these are protected so nobody steals your bait. And you'll start to see just how much cash this stuff's going to make you. Yeah, we'll just make this wood for now because, for cheap. And then you can make these wood here. And the reason why you kind of place them like this at first, even though everything's exposed, I know these foundations are like exposed, but this gets you started so you can start doing the fishing, because remember, it's passive income. So you place your bait in here and just let it do its thing. And then as you get more stone, you can start to upgrade key locations. So you can do this backsplash here. You can do like every other position here, so then that way it won't collapse on you. Oh, is the fishing trap in the way? Ooh. Okay, guess not. I guess we won't update those. I guess we have to do those first. Man, it's so fickle what it actually blocks out. Wow, the foundations, really? Even these on the backside? Alright, well, it looks like we're knocking out the traps, and then we'll do the update. Well, by then, these should actually be broken out of usage, but yeah. That's another reason why these are so crazy, because the bound box for this, the area of effect, is very crazy. So anyways, let's say we get a bit more. We've got this upgraded. We ran the fishing traps. They got destroyed. We would come out here, upgrade these, and then you can actually make these honeycomb if you want to. And then you can start knocking out the wood from the interior. Because it is wood, it doesn't take much. Or you can just leave it as honeycomb. It just depends. Show you that you can still place all this stuff. So it gives you more room to kind of operate, because at that point you're going to have a lot of extra stuff. This is meant to be like a supporting base outside of your normal base. So that's why you want to start with just wood. And honestly, I would kind of probably just keep most of it wood. Maybe alternate a couple foundations as stone, but for the most part, this part isn't that important to protect. Even though we're making it all stone now, but you get the idea. So I think the most important thing you can probably add to this is we would make this stone, then flip it. And then this can become a loot room itself. So you can add another triangle here, and then a square, and then you just make like a reach-in loot room. We can reach off the side, and then this should be enough for all of the fishing operations. You keep a set of scuba equipment here, so you can kind of go underwater and cache these in. Or if you're close to an outpost or bandit camp, remember you can cache these in using the drone system. It just costs you 20 extra scrap. And yes, that even works on fish cache outs. So it's actually very doable. We're just doing all the upgrades so you can see what that looks like. And like I said, you can make that a window, a door, whatever. And again, this isn't meant to be super like defensive. This is just enough to do some operations and then go cash out when you need to. Yeah, you could add honeycomb to this if you really want to, but for the most part, this should be pretty good. Pretty good. So at this point, you should have so much cash on you. And I'm a big fan of just going triangles. Oops. The exterior. Nothing complicated. That way you've got the single pass-throughs, you got 2 different ways to leave, so people have a harder time maybe guessing where you're at. And if you really wanted to, you could do another frame here to kind of beefing up the old loot room, or path to the loot room. Start to see just how easy this would be to kind of seal off. We'll make one a swing door and we'll make one a garage door. That's more realistic, I think, for like me when I'm playing, so hopefully that's close to what you guys are doing too. Yeah, I think at some point you probably want to cover these if you've got like the foundation stuff. If you've got the, the loot area built in. Really, it's not needed. They can knock out foundations all day long, as long as the main walls don't collapse. But even if they do, it's like, okay, so what? That way you've got a little bit more room back here. We showed you the very cheap early version, and we're showing you the more expanded version if you want to. Honestly, only do it if you think you really need to and you have an excessive amount, if you really want to protect your position. But I think even those could just be wood. Then you've got a little bit of room to kind of maneuver inside of here. And remember, since you're on the water, it's a lot harder to use Molotovs because, you know, Molotovs go out with the water surrounding it. Alright, so now that the traps have been all used up and now you can start to place things, you can do the same thing you did prior. Then you can put like smaller boxes in here to kind of do all the preparation you need, because you'll be gutting the fish, re-queuing the fish, putting sleeping bags in these little triangle areas, making it a lot more efficient to use for, you know, something you stop by and just kind of cash out. I mean, you'd be surprised. You can catch sharks doing this. It's nuts. Let me just show you what the loot room looks like here. Throw in a couple mock boxes. Yes, even though this update that's coming out that has a fishing update in it, yes, that update feels like it was a quality of life update kind of cut into pieces. But still, I think this is a very valuable thing they added to the game. Especially for solos. You'll be seeing us use this quite often as like a paired strategy for just progression in general. You could even make this like a single room with like the TC in the corner. So you get the idea. Boxes in here, populated, good to go. Enough room for a sleeping bag. You can keep rotating these. Remember, you can repair those with cloth and wood. I would say probably just keep a door here. And you could even just use... Oh man, that is so fickle. Alright, note to self. It doesn't even like doors. Man, every time I keep doing this, I'm like, wow, it's really restrictive. More restrictive than I originally thought. So there you go. That's your single pass-through. We got an idea of what the cost is for this. We'll put a roof on that. And these could even be wooden doors. Like whatever you have left over, make this place look like a big pile. You know, you really just want people to be off of your bait long enough for you to go collect. You're not going to keep a lot of stuff in here. This is the most extreme example of the upgrade to the fishing hut. But I think this gives you a good idea of how this is going to go. So fully upgraded. Unnecessarily so. Come on, place. There it goes. So let's go see what the upkeep is. So you can really start to see how just taking a little bit of stone with you and cashing it out at the outpost, how viable this is for just as a supporting piece. And I'll show you the opening thing here to kind of show you if the depth is correct again, real fast. So remember, the place for this is very fickle. Like, look, the placement here works, and then it starts here, and then it ends right about there. So in order to find a position, I know we did this in the beginning, but just to kind of review, because this is the hardest part. Place a square where you want the building to be placed. Assume one of these will go here, and then if it works here and it works here, you don't have to place it, just see if it's blue. Then you know that's a good position to build off of, and then you're good to go. So just imagine this one here, and then whatever goes in the middle. There you go. That's a fishing hut to help you go from nothing to super progression as a solo within hours of starting the wipe. And you really don't even have to stop building. You can just keep doing your thing and let this earn income for you.